From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
It's Thursday, December 10th, and right now on Good Morning Indiana.
Talk about counties being red. The state of Indiana is on fire.
COVID-19 continues to rapidly spread across the Hoosier state. This morning, the new restrictions from the governor's office aimed at curbing the spread.
We have 2 -80s who are ready to receive the Pfizer vaccine.
If approved, the Pfizer vaccine could be in the Hoosier state within a matter of hours. This morning, how Indiana hospitals are preparing and the state's plan to distribute the vaccine. Plus, as the vaccine approval gets closer, scammers are springing into action. This morning, the warning signs you need to watch out for so you don't waste your money.
Welcome to Good Morning Indiana on this Thursday, December the 10th. I'm Rafael Sanchez, coming to you live from your official WRTV living room. And in Studio A, my good friends Nicole Griffin and Kyle Mounts, who are filling in for Lauren and Todd. Guys, good morning. It is always great to have you with us here with the Good Morning Indiana family.
Rafael, good morning. So happy to be here and hard to believe it's already December 10th. Kyle, as people are waking up, getting ready this morning, they're probably going to need that heavy jacket, but they might get to lose it later on today.
Yeah, as we go through the afternoon, you know, things are starting off chilly now, but if you liked yesterday, I think you're really going to enjoy this afternoon. We got to get through some 20s and 30s out there, though, this morning. It's 28 for you right now in Greencastle. Greenfield, you're down to 27, while it's 26 in Richmond, and we've got 34 downtown. It is with clear skies, but we've had some areas of fog at times. Visibility around Lafayette's been about a half mile. Right now it's at 2 miles, so it shouldn't slow you down too much, but just kind of be aware out there in some of those fog-prone areas that you may have a little bit of a slowdown out there. Temperatures today going to make it to 58 in the city. I think some areas will get around 60 degrees, not too far away from that record back in 1971 of 66 for us. As we look at that weather ahead, we've got more highs in the 50s. We've got some rain. Doesn't really time out too well with the weekend. And behind that, those temperatures will tumble. More on that in a few minutes, but Nicole has a check of your Thursday morning commute.
All right, Kyle, thank you. Let's take a live look outside this morning at the roads. This is a live look at I-65 at I-865, where you can see at 602 traffic is beginning to pick up a bit here in this area, but you can see traffic is moving up to speed at this hour. We are not monitoring any crashes or delays, but we will keep you updated. Rafael.
And Nicole, here is the latest on the pandemic and its impact on our state. The state health department confirms 98 more Hoosiers have died with COVID-19. Wednesday marked the second day in a row that nearly 100 deaths were reported. Health officials also report nearly 5,900 new coronavirus cases. Now, Wednesday also marked the third straight day with less than 6,000 new cases reported right here in Indiana. The governor is taking action as Indiana has the second highest rate of COVID-19 infections, Nicole, in the country.
Governor Holcomb is putting control back in the state's hands after shifting to locally driven restrictions back in November. Starting December 16th, all hospitals are required to postpone or reschedule non-emergency and elective procedures until January 3rd. Social gatherings are limited based on county metrics and the number of cases. No more than 25 people are allowed to gather in red counties, which is about a third of the state. 50 people are allowed for orange counties. Larger gatherings are allowed in the yellow and blue counties, but as of today, that does not apply to any parts of our state. Local health departments are no longer allowed to grant any exceptions to those gathering restrictions, and state health officials say these actions are designed to relieve some of the pressure being felt by healthcare workers.
We know that our healthcare workforce is already exhausted. By postponing non-emergent procedures done in an inpatient setting, we will be able to free up preoperative and postoperative staff and OR staff to be able to provide relief for these weary COVID warriors.
And we do know that the statewide mask mandate will remain in place. Rafael.
So, Nicole, in just a few hours, the FDA will meet to determine whether Pfizer's COVID vaccine will receive that emergency use authorization. If approved, Indiana could see those doses arriving in just within a few days. WRTV's Kelsey Anderson is live this morning with how local hospitals are preparing for that possible big announcement today. Kelsey, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Raphael. So the FDA, they'll be publicly debating two main questions: whether or not the vaccine is effective and if the potential effectiveness outweighs any potential risks. Now, officials say the vaccine could be authorized for use within 24 hours of that debate happening and then be sent out across the country. Now, in its first analysis, the FDA says the Pfizer vaccine does appear effective regardless of race, ethnicity, or gender, adding there were no specific safety concerns identified that could prevent emergency authorization. Local hospitals here in Indiana are already preparing to store the vaccine. IU Health has added sub-zero freezers that can hold more vaccines than they're probably even going to receive. I spoke with Dr. Jennifer Hartwell, and she urges all Hoosiers to get the vaccine once it's available.
Really strongly consider getting the COVID vaccine when it becomes available to you. There's a lot of research that proves that it is going to be safe for us, and I feel confident in getting the vaccine myself. And that is probably, in addition to the masking and distancing, the next best thing that we can do to, get us beyond COVID.
In yesterday's press conference, Governor Holcomb saying it's a modern medical miracle that we have a vaccine this quickly. We learned Indiana will get more than 55,000 vaccines in the first week and then more each week following. The state's chief medical officer, Lindsay Weaver, says the vaccine does not use the live virus, so you cannot get COVID from the vaccine. She also says children under 16 will not be able to get the vaccine because studies have not been done yet for that age group. So if the Pfizer vaccine is authorized today, we could see it as early as next week. I was told by IU Health officials that they are expecting it on the 15th or the 16th, and as soon as it gets here, they are going to be ready to deploy it and have it administer it to anyone who is going to be in those first round of folks who get it, which is healthcare workers, and then those folks living in those long-term care facilities who are at higher risk of COVID-19. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you so much. So let's keep talking about that, because many Hoosiers have a big question is who will get the vaccine first? Kelsey mentioned some of those folks just a few moments ago, but the State Vaccine Allocation Committee is prioritizing healthcare workforce as well as those at the greatest risk of death from the virus. Among the general population, long-term care residents, those 65 and older, and those with underlying medical conditions will also be among the priority. State health officials also say they expect most of the general population to get vaccinated in the spring and summer. And as we learn more about COVID-19 vaccines, we'll keep bringing you the very latest updates from local and national health professionals. Download the WRTV News app right now to stay up to date.
More than 30% of Indiana's restaurants could close in the next 6 months. That is according to a new survey from the National Restaurant Association. And this morning, the association reports nearly 20% of restaurants here in Indiana have already closed since March. The president and CEO of the Indiana Restaurant and Lodging Association says this industry continues to be the hardest hit. Many restaurant owners say their doors cannot remain open unless the industry is included in the next federal relief package.
This does not take into account November, and November's sales figures were awful. Particularly for that family dining restaurant on up, those restaurants have just been absolutely decimated.
I'm pretty sure that everyone else out there is tired of asking themselves what they're going to make for dinner tonight. So supporting your local bars and restaurants and ordering from the places that you love so that you know that when we come out the other end of this, that they're going to be there for you to go back and enjoy.
The co-founder of Sun King Brewing Company says foot traffic at all of their locations is down 50% this month, and Sun King says their Marion County locations are seeing the biggest decline in sales due to restrictions on capacity. We have reached out to Congressman Andre Carson and Senator Todd Young about including the hospitality and restaurant industry in the next relief package. We do have their full statements right now on the WRTV News app.
Here's a talker from Bloomington and beyond. It is unclear when IU's historic football season will continue. On Wednesday, Indiana and Purdue announced a joint decision to cancel the Old Oaken Bucket game due to COVID concerns. The Big Ten also announced a change to the rules to get Ohio State into the conference title game. Officials say the Conference Administrators Council voted to eliminate the minimum game requirement to play in the championship. Under the rules, the Big Ten agreed to before the start of this shortened season, IU earned the right to play in the game. Scott Dolson, the university's vice president and director of intercollegiate athletics, released a statement on Twitter saying in part, "Although we understand the conference's decision, we are disappointed. From the start of the year, we have said we can only control what we can control. We had a chance to earn our spot in the Big Ten championship game, but ultimately fell a touchdown short on the road against a great Ohio State team. We look forward to resuming activities and completing one of the best seasons in our school's history."
Well, still ahead here on Good Morning Indiana, the coronavirus pandemic is forcing schools to change the way they operate. Still ahead, the role you can play in shaping the next generation. Kyle.
It's 6:10 here on your Thursday morning, and we are setting ourselves up for another beautiful December day, as we'll have a mix of sun and clouds, and that temperature all the way to 58 this afternoon. We'll keep those mild temperatures going into the start of the weekend, but that's also when some rain moves into the forecast, and you're going to need to grab that umbrella. How much wet weather's coming your way? I'll detail that coming up. You're watching Good Morning Indiana on WRTV.
It is 6:13 here on your Thursday morning. Thank you so much for watching Good Morning Indiana. This is a live look out at the roads this morning. I-65 at West Street and MLK, where you can see traffic here in this area is moving up to speeds. No delays or crashes so far to start your morning. Hiring Hoosiers connects you with career opportunities like substitute teaching.
As our Lauren Casey reports, with the pandemic impacting our schools, more teachers are needed in the classroom. We want to note that the video that you'll see in this classroom story was recorded prior to the pandemic.
I mean, the days are gone when the substitute teacher used to come in and sit at the desk and read a book and a newspaper, and the kids would have a packet of work to keep them busy. That's not the case anymore.
Josephine Brewington is passionate about the kids in Beech Grove City schools. She walks in the doors when they have in-person classes, ready to go where help is needed. And she takes with her 10 years of experience as a substitute teacher.
So you're a permanent sub in the building, if you will. Can you kind of talk to me about what that means and what that job entails?
So as a permanent sub, I just know that I'm going to get to work every day. So someone who doesn't have a job right now, it's a great opportunity for them. Also the pay. The pay has been wonderful right now. I have schools that I've seen listed that are paying double what they started paying when I started.
When she started, her husband had just retired. Brewington was looking for a new career with flexibility for time off for traveling, one where she could make an impact.
They need substitutes so bad that when I started, it was never a day or two. It was always every day the school was open, I was subbing. And I love it.
And now in this pandemic, many schools are forced to switch to virtual if they can't fill these roles. Brad Beckner with Kelly Education, a company that provides instructional support to classrooms across the country, says many are answering this call to serve our youth.
We're seeing a renewed interest. Our heroes are coming in to assist. We're seeing individuals that are in a job search that are taking opportunities of substitute teaching. One of the nice things about being a substitute teacher is that it can be at your schedule.
Kelly Education works to recruit Hoosiers to this profession and connects substitutes to school districts. He says many in the service industry or other professions who lost jobs due to COVID-19 can find full-time work right now during their temporary layoffs.
This is a noble profession. This is so very important and critical to the education of our youth.
Even if you don't have any teaching background, those lifetime experiences help you in the classroom with the kids.
And in our schools, safety is a #1 priority.
Retirees, I know with the pandemic, they're worried. They are worried about coming in and getting sick. We have our masks that we have to put on every single day. The kids are wonderful. We have our hand sanitizer. We're cleaning. Kids are washing their hands. We're trying to be so safe because teachers don't want to get sick.
And that was Lauren Casey reporting. And teachers are wonderful. To become a substitute teacher, you need at least 60 credit hours of an associate's degree, but it does not need to be in education. For more information on substitute teaching or other roles inside schools, visit our website, hiringhoosiers.com. And Kyle Mounts, Mrs. Sanchez, who is a kindergarten teacher, will give you an A+ for that 50-degree temperatures we're about to see later today.
All right, I will take it. Rack up a couple more because we got some 50s going into the weekend here. So we got a very nice stretch of weather, kind of payback from the colder start that we had to the month and those cloudy days earlier here in the week. We got 34 right now, so yes, it is a chilly start to the day, but we are going to warm up nicely. 28 in Kokomo and 29 for you in Bloomington. Winds 5 miles per hour or less. And there we are. Temperatures about 5 to 10 degrees colder than this time yesterday. But as mentioned, here's a look at where we're heading. With some sunshine mixing in a few more clouds today, we'll already be to 40 degrees here at 10 a.m. and knocking on the door of 50 degrees as we get to your lunch hour today. So not bad, especially with some sunshine. Need maybe the lighter jacket and the sunglasses as you head out later today. Temperatures in the middle to upper 50s, and a few of us even making it to around 60 degrees this afternoon in Bloomington and Columbus, 58 in Indy, and 57 for you in the Muncie area. Numbers that are about 15 to 20 degrees above average for this time of year. And tonight's not going to be as chilly out there either. We're going to trade those 20s and lower 30s for even a couple of 40s as we go into your Friday morning. 40 in Lafayette, 42 Muncie and Bloomington, and 38 in the city. Now Friday, we will increase the cloud cover. It's going to be a little more of a gray day, especially as we go into the afternoon, but temperatures aren't going to be held back by that. We're still well into the 50s. I think we'll top out around 57 degrees or so for that afternoon high. But it does come with the chance for some rain late in the day. This is a look at TrueCast by 5:30 in the evening. Some very light scattered showers here from Rockville, Crawfordsville into Delphi and working its way through Logansport and Peru as well. As we get into Friday night at about 8 o'clock in the evening, really across the northwestern portion of the state, by the time we get into our Saturday morning, that's where the rain becomes a little more widespread. So on Saturday, if you've got some errands or going to plan to be outside, you're going to have to take along the umbrella. Deal with some rainy conditions, also some breezy conditions out there, but temperatures will remain mild for us. The trade-off for the second half of the weekend, while it's dry, it does get colder. And there you can see those showers becoming a little more scattered into our Saturday afternoon. Rainfall ranging from about 1/3 of an inch to possibly an inch in a couple of locations. I think that would be on the isolated basis, though. You can see as we get into the western portion of the state, those rainfall amounts might be a little bit higher, but here are those temperature changes that go along with it for the weekend. 55 your high on Saturday, but only 38 degrees going into Sunday with mostly cloudy skies. So a much different feel here and layering up once again as we get into Sunday. Next 3 days, though, not going to need all that. Just the lighter layers will do just fine. Temperatures in the middle 50s there. And as we go into next week, looks like we'll hold highs in the middle to upper 30s, mainly with some dry weather. So it's been a dry month so far here, Nicole. It looks like outside of that Friday night, Saturday chance for rain, not going to deal with much in the way of precipitation, and those holding out hope for snow don't see any of that coming our way either.
All right, Kyle, I'm fine with that. Thank you so much. Let's take a live look outside up in Hamilton County this morning. This is US 31 near Rangeline Road there in the Carmel area. Good morning to everyone waking up with us here. Everything is moving up to speed at this hour. We will keep you updated on any crashes or delays to start your Thursday. As we wait for the approval for the coronavirus vaccine, scammers are already targeting Hoosiers. Still ahead, the warning signs you need to watch out for so you don't waste your money.
Plus, the pandemic is forcing two big holiday traditions to change course. Coming up in our next half hour, the new way hundreds of families are getting holiday help.
And we could be hours away from the FDA giving the green light to Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine. So what questions does the agency still need answered? George Stephanopoulos goes one-on-one with the FDA Commissioner, Dr. Stephen Hahn, coming up on Good Morning America. And we want to say good morning to everyone waking up in Southport, Cicero, and Shirley. It is 6:21 here on your Thursday morning. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on WRTV. Welcome back here to Good Morning Indiana. Time now to take a look at the stories, Raphael, trending here at 6 o'clock.
You know that on this shift, we love food, right?
Oh, yeah.
And in fact, because I'm in my living room, I just turned on the oven thinking about this food. A Southern California group calling themselves Lasagna Love, that's right, Lasagna Love, is baking up batches of lasagna for strangers in need. We could all do this. Angela Rosenblatt is one of the volunteers who makes about 20 lasagnas a week in her kitchen. Volunteers drop the meals off at people's doors. Rosenblatt says she thinks it inspires hope that there's someone out there who cares. I would love to do that. And by the way, Nicole, the oven is on because Mrs. Sanchez just woke up, so her breakfast has to get warmed up. But I would make some lasagnas.
Ooh,
yes, I would.
Lasagna does sound good, and you know, I'm pretty hungry right now, so hey. Well, check out this iridescent snake discovered in the jungles of Vietnam. A team of scientists were researching biodiversity when they discovered the reptile.
Nope.
Marveling at its unique scales, the scales shift from blue to green in the light. The undiscovered species was named as part of the rare genus Acalinus, which appropriately means odd-scaled snakes. Hey.
This is why Todd Clausen's on vacation, because he knew the story was going to air, and Todd hates snakes.
Oh, does he? I didn't know that. Kyle says he does too.
Well, Kyle, you need to go on vacation too. Yeah.
I'm kind of with you with that.
It gets worse, kind of. A puppy's brush with death has given him a new job other than being cute. Check this out. This video shows Richard Wilbanks wrestling with an alligator to free the pup named Gunner from its strong mouth back in October. The county sheriff says this Cavalier King Charles Spaniel deserves his new gold shield. He says that Gunner's survival instinct makes him a perfect candidate for his Pets on Patrol program. Yet another reason why not to live in Florida, because in Indiana, all you can find in your backyard is maybe a snake or a mouse. But who wants an alligator eating their pets? Come on now, folks. Stay here.
Not me.
No.
I think the pet owner deserves an award, too. Look at him go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that dog's ready for the canine unit. He's got the badge.
He's so cute.
And ready to go.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah. And back on that snake thing for a second. So last place I worked, we had this window. And there was a garden, and the snake would come up and like hover around the window. I didn't work there. Nope. I moved to another desk. I'm like, I know there's glass.
I'm done here.
No. All right, let's talk about some rain, or the lack thereof, shall we? We are adding up to nearly an inch deficit on that rainfall, and it's going to hold off a little longer before we get some wet weather in here. But I think as we get Friday night and into Saturday, we've got some steady rain that's coming our way. Not necessarily a washout, because I think as we go through the day on Saturday, it becomes a little more scattered into the afternoon. But here's a look at those rain chances. We start you off with 7 o'clock on Friday evening, about a 30% chance of rain there. But as we get to 7 a.m. on Saturday morning, nearly a guarantee that we're going to have some rain, that chance at about 80%. We will talk about how much rainfall is coming our way and the temperatures that will cool down behind that system in just a little bit. Nicole?
Kyle, thank you. The coronavirus vaccine has not been approved by the FDA just yet, but as our John Matarese explains, that is not stopping scammers from targeting you.
Many people right now are getting excited about the COVID-19 vaccine and can't wait for their turn to be vaccinated. Well, if so, you could be a prime target for a vaccine scam. If you're tired of quarantining and worrying, wouldn't it be great if you could be one of the first to receive Pfizer or Moderna's coronavirus vaccine? Some emails are now claiming you can be among the first non-essential workers to get it if you pay a fee. But the Federal Trade Commission warns that no one will be able to pay to put their name on a list to get early access. The FTC also says nobody from a vaccine distribution site or insurance company will ask for your credit card or social security information to get the vaccine early. It says never pay for the promise of vaccine access. When your name comes up, the vaccine will be free, though some doctors will charge for an office visit. Till then, don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese. Good morning, Indiana.
John, thank you so much. This morning, Republican and Democratic lawmakers are trying to come to a deal on a coronavirus relief package. But right now, that package does not include any additional stimulus for Hoosiers or any Americans. The deal proposed by a bipartisan group of lawmakers includes giving the unemployed $300 more a week for 16 weeks. It also includes $300 billion in aid for small businesses and a continued pause on federal student loan payments through the end of April. Congress is trying to pass a bill soon, and that's because aid programs approved in March, including jobless assistance and eviction protection programs, will run out in just a few weeks.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Thursday, here's a look at your 6:30 news feed. Attorney General Curtis Hill and the Attorney General-elect Todd Rokita are both backing a lawsuit that seeks to overturn Donald Trump's election loss. The lawsuit filed by the Texas Attorney General asks U.S. Supreme Court to toss out all of the votes cast in Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. The lawsuit claims those states that Trump lost violated the Constitution by making it easier for people to vote during the pandemic.
Here's an update to a story we first brought to you on Wednesday. A woman from Randolph County has been charged with animal cruelty after 6 neglected horses were found on her property. The horses were seized from the property this week after an investigation that began last month. The State Board of Animal Health says 4 adult horses, a pony and a mini pony, were in poor health with no access to food.
And take a look at your screen now. The Indianapolis Fire Department is reminding you not to jump on the back of fire engines after a woman did just that. A driver notified IFD Engine 44 on Tuesday after seeing the woman hanging on the back of the fire truck. IFD Battalion Chief Rita Wright says this is not okay. She says the woman could have been seriously injured had the engine received an emergency call or have had to come to a complete stop. It is 6:30 here on your Thursday morning. We want to welcome you into Good Morning Indiana, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Nicole Griffin in for Lauren Casey.
Nicole, good morning to you. And talk about teamwork, Kyle Mounts. Nicole and I decided to wear blue to match your weather maps this morning.
We did.
How about that, buddy? Come on.
Yeah, nice coordination, right? Yeah, and I got a little bit of blue here. But good thing is we're going to lose the blue on the map here later this afternoon. Those temperatures are going to warm up very nicely here later today. We got 29 for you, though, in Bloomington as well as Muncie. It's 28 now in Lafayette, holding on to 34 in the city. So, yeah, you're still going to need that winter coat as you head out the door this morning. We've got mostly clear skies, few clouds that are starting to kind of bubble up here early this morning, and I think we will see a few more clouds around today. Still not going to be the gray overcast skies that we had earlier in the week. Visibility, it's been dropping here and there, but not doing too bad right now in Lafayette. Earlier this morning it was half-mile visibility for you. Now it's at 4 miles. So just watch out for some pockets of fog out there, especially across the northern portion of the state this morning. Today, mix of sun and clouds. Cannot beat that temperature for early December. We got 58 for a high later today. And tonight the clouds continue to increase for us, so that'll keep temperatures a little more manageable going into our Friday morning at 38 degrees. But those clouds eventually leading to some rain. We're going to detail that coming up here in just a little bit. But right now, Nicole has a check of your morning drive.
And Kyle, everything is looking good out on the roads this morning. This is a live look at our INDOT traffic camera here at I-65 and I-70 there at the South Split. You can see traffic is beginning to pick up here at 6:32. But right now, good news if you're heading out the door. No delays or crashes to slow you down this morning. Raphael.
Nicole, Indiana's COVID case numbers continue to increase by the thousands. Here's a look at the latest numbers as we know them. The State Department of Health reporting 5,853 new cases of the virus on Wednesday, bringing the total case number to more than 398,000. 98 more Hoosiers have died with the virus. Indiana's death toll now reaching 6,207. Now, with those metrics, the State Department of Health is reporting more counties at the highest risk level. 36 are now in the red, which is a jump from just 16 last week. It means that social gatherings are limited to 25 people in those areas. The other 56 counties in orange are limited to no more than 50 people.
A ray of light amid the darkness of the pandemic. On Wednesday, IU Health Methodist Hospital hosted a Tree of Hope lighting ceremony. The event honored patients who have suffered from COVID-19, as well as the doctors, nurses, and other staffers caring for those patients. Each ornament on the tree represents a person who battled COVID-19 on IU Health's inpatient units and survived. One exception, though, is Sandra Vaughn. She died from the virus in June. An ornament in her honor is now on the tree from her daughter.
I think it's nice to have something that takes our mind off of the tragedy and instead focuses on the hope that we are going to get through this. And that's what this tree represents. It represents hope, and it's beautiful, right? And the lights are lovely, and that's a nice distraction, and it helps remind us of things other than tragedy.
The ornaments were donated by team members who helped COVID patients throughout their battle.
The U.S. could be hours away from approving a COVID-19 vaccine. Next, a live report on how Indiana hospitals are getting ready to give out those shots.
The COVID-19 vaccine rolls out. You may be wondering, what about your children? We'll show you how long it may be before your kids and grandkids can get vaccinated. It's 6:35 here on your Thursday. You're watching Good Morning Indiana. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. It's already been approved in Canada and the United Kingdom. And today is the day the coronavirus vaccine from Pfizer could receive that critical emergency use authorization from the FDA.
Our Kelsey Anderson joins us live now this morning with what that means and how hospitals here in central Indiana are preparing. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Nicole. So we could have a vaccine here in Indiana as early as next week if it's approved today by the FDA for that emergency authorization. So today they're going to be publicly debating two main questions. Is the Pfizer vaccine effective, and does the potential effectiveness outweigh any potential risk that comes with that vaccine? So officials say the vaccine could be authorized for use just 24 hours after that debate today. And in its first analysis, the FDA says the Pfizer vaccine does appear effective regardless of race, ethnicity, or gender, adding there were no specific safety concerns identified that could prevent emergency authorization. Local hospitals here in Indiana are already preparing to store the vaccine. IU Health has added sub-zero freezers, and I spoke with Dr. Chris Weaver. He's the Senior Vice President of Clinical Effectiveness, and he says they are prepared to store, distribute, and administer the vaccine.
But we were lucky that we already had, because of our size and some of the advanced therapies we give, already had several ultra cold freezers around our system. We distributed those to each of these places, as well as purchased several more, so that are confident we have more than enough storage for any amount of vaccine that we can get our hands on. So we're ready for it.
In yesterday's press conference, the state's chief medical officer, Lindsay Weaver, says the vaccine does not use the live virus, so you cannot get COVID from the vaccine. She also says children under 16 will not be able to get the vaccine because studies have not yet been done on that age group. Governor Holcomb saying it's a modern medical miracle that we have a vaccine this quickly. We learned Indiana will get more than 55,000 vaccines in the first week and then more each week following. So if the Pfizer vaccine does get approved today for emergency authorization by the FDA, again, we could see it as early as next week. They're telling me either the 15th or the 16th is when they're planning on getting it here. And once it gets here at IU Health, they say they will be ready to go and administer it to those first people who are going to get it, which is healthcare workers and those living in long-term care facilities. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you. And as she mentioned there, even if the Pfizer vaccine is approved, Raphael, it will not be available to children.
Yeah, that's right. Kelsey was talking about that it will only be given to people 16 years and older. So health officials say that additional tests, Nicole, still need to be done and approved for young people, kids under the age of 16. And that's because their immune systems are different from adults. For parents concerned about side effects, Dr. John Christensen with Riley Hospital for Children says the most common effects may include pain where that shot is given, some muscle aches, possible fatigue, and sometimes fever. But he says these are normal reactions to vaccines.
They have nothing to do with getting COVID from the vaccine. What they are is your own immune response responding to this substance that you're injecting into the arm.
Dr. Christensen says a widespread vaccination for children won't likely be available until the summer. And as we learn more about COVID-19 vaccines, their effectiveness and their distribution, we'll keep you updated and bring you the very latest from local and national health officials. You can find all of this information and much more at WRTV.com in our Q&A section, and reach out to us if you have any questions.
Well, still ahead, the need is still there, but the pandemic is making it more difficult to fill. Next, the changes being made to the effort to make sure all Hoosiers have a fulfilled holiday season.
And he was just another fire dog, and then he became one of the most controversial four-legged friends in central Indiana. Coming up, we'll jump into the WRTV vault for this Throwback Thursday favorite right here, of course, on WRTV. But first, another favorite, of course, Kyle Mounts. Who doesn't love Kyle?
Oh, thanks, especially on a weather day like this, right, Raphael? We got temperatures that are starting off around the freezing mark there at 32, but it looks a whole lot better as you get ready to head home this afternoon. Those numbers going to be in the 50s here as we enjoy a mix of sun and clouds, but we've got some wet weather to talk about for the weekend. We'll do that coming up. You're watching Good Morning Indiana here on WRTV.
COVID health and safety restrictions are forcing two major December traditions to now change course.
Nicole, more than 500 local families depend on the annual shopping event sponsored by a number of law enforcement groups. Here's the good news. No cancellations, just changes. This was the scene last year at the Trooper Bartram Christmas for Kids event on the south side of Indianapolis. State Police, Southport Police, and others took children in need shopping for clothing and toys. COVID-19 forcing this annual event to change. This year, no mass shopping. A member of law enforcement will be paired with a family, and they will coordinate a time that they can go shopping together at any nearby Walmart or Meijer store. If a family is not comfortable doing that, the officer will get the child's wish list, do the shopping, and then make the delivery. This year, each child will be allotted $150. That's $25 more than in 2019. Master Trooper Patrick Etter has already shopped with one family.
We went Christmas shopping and bought her and her son their Christmas this year just to help her out. She'd fallen on some hard times, and which has happened to a lot of people this year with people losing their jobs.
For years, hundreds of kids have benefited from this December tradition, named in honor of State Police Trooper James Patrick Bartram, killed in the line of duty in March 1998.
It's important for us to do just to help our community and give something back to the communities that we serve.
Christmas for Kids is also working, Nicole, with families in New Salem, that's in Hendricks County, and with an Indianapolis school committed to children with autism. So those schools are also benefiting from this program. There's another big December tradition, of course. The Indy FOP is also working on some new arrangements to serve its families. This is video from 2009, so of course you will see no social distancing or mask. Last year, this big event helped a record 350 families, which included shopping, breakfast, and lunch for the families, even some playtime after all of that. We are waiting on getting more details on the changes to that big and great event due to COVID-19. But first, on this Thursday, we turn to your local forecast with our Kyle Mounts. Kyle, good morning.
And good morning to you, Raphael. We got temperatures this morning that are actually a little bit cooler than what we had as you headed out the door yesterday. You're at 28 right now in Lafayette, 29 in Muncie, and we got 28 degrees in the Columbus area, while we're at 34 downtown, 32 for you in Plainfield. A little colder in New Bell at 27, and on the east side there we got Greenfield coming in at 27 degrees. Temperatures today, though, they will recover pretty quickly. In fact, I think we'll be a little bit warmer by this afternoon than what we had yesterday. Your temperature at noon almost to 50 degrees already. The average high is right at 40, so we will surpass that easily, no problem, as we will get into the middle upper 50s in some areas, even to around 60 degrees. 59 this afternoon for you in Lafayette, 58 in Frankfort. You'll find a high of 57 in Anderson, and those temperatures as we get a little closer to I-70 here, upper 50s to around 60 degrees. 60 for you in Martinsville. Temperatures that are about 15 to 20 degrees warmer than we would expect here in early December, and we will take it. 60 in Seymour, Bloomington, and 61 in the Spencer area. We have a few more clouds that are going to be streaming through today, but generally of that high, thin, cirrus variety for us, so still going to be a very bright day for us, and those will move through with very little in the way of fanfare. Tomorrow's a little different story. We are going to see the thicker clouds starting to return to the area, but temperatures are still mild once again. We get to 54 at noon, so it'll even be a little warmer a little earlier in the day, 56 as we get to 5 o'clock in the evening. But here's where we get into some more of those changes, and that's the wet weather. This is Friday at 11 o'clock in the evening, and you can see there's some rain taking shape here over the western portion of the state, and that will really kind of fill in here as we go into early Saturday. So the timing's not great if you've got some errands or some things you needed to get done outdoors on Saturday. We're going to have wet weather. It becomes a little more scattered as we head through the afternoon, but we're still going to have that chance for some rain anyway in the forecast. As far as how much we're expecting, about a ½ inch to maybe 3/4 of an inch, a little bit more in a few spots, not out of the question. Temperatures go from 55 on a breezy Saturday to just 38 by Sunday afternoon. So it will turn much colder as we dry things out the second half of the weekend. There's a look at your 7-day planning forecast. Highs in the 50s the next 3 days, and then the reality check sets in with highs in the 30s and probably not out of the middle 30s by next Wednesday.
It is time for Throwback Thursday, and today we go back, Raphael, to a massive controversy that consumed a part of Hamilton County for an entire year 40 years ago.
So, Nicole, this was a fight over a dog, and whether that dog was a city treasure or a city criminal. I want you to meet Sparky. Sparky was the mascot of the Noblesville Fire Department. He also had free reign to roam around town thanks to a doggy door at Fire Station 1. That did not sit well with Noblesville Council member Thomas Holtkamp. He thought that Sparky was gaining an exemption from the city's leash law that every other pet owner had to follow. Former WRTV reporter Cy Jenkins found that those who loved Sparky and would often feed him thought the chunky Dalmatian should get a break.
I think our government has pardoned more criminals than Sparky, and I know some other crooks that are in town, they'll walk in the street. They get paroled, and why shouldn't they work with him?
In the end, the city won out and Sparky was forced into early retirement. He lived out his life on the farm owned by a Noblesville firefighter. Sparky died in 1989 at the age of 13.
Well, still ahead, some critics had blasted the idea, and now it's going away. The action taken on a planned mural, plus more of your top stories coming up next. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on WRTV. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. This is a live look out at the roads this morning. I-65 at 30th Street, where traffic is moving up to speed. Good news to start your Thursday. No delays or crashes at this hour. It is 6:54 here on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Nicole Griffin along with Rafael Sanchez. Meteorologist Kyle Mounts has a look at your forecast coming up next, right after a check of our top stories here on this Thursday.
Nicole, we begin with a slight change to the way that criminal justice will be handled in Indianapolis. Looking into the future, a City County Council committee has approved a moratorium on any new jails. The moratorium will run at least 40 years after the completion of the new community justice campus. The proposal now goes to the full council.
The City County Council will not consider helping to fund a mural that supporters say was designed to condemn anti-police sentiment. The Republican sponsors of the Black the Blue mural have withdrawn the proposal. Critics say the mural plan was an insensitive response to the Black Lives Matter mural that was painted on Indiana Avenue over the summer.
Local animal shelters and care organizations are feeling the effects of the pandemic, and they need your help today. Leaders at Indianapolis Animal Care Services say they're close, really close to getting to capacity. They tell us this is typically a busy time of year for adoptions as people look to add a pet to their family around the holidays. But this year, they say, is much slower. Animal Care Services is now offering free adoptions. We have details on this program on our website, WRTV.com.
It's unclear when IU's historic football season will continue. On Wednesday, Indiana and Purdue announced a joint decision to cancel the Old Oaken Bucket game due to COVID concerns. The Big Ten also announced a change to the rules to get Ohio State into the conference title game at Lucas Oil Stadium next week. The Big Ten eliminated the minimum game requirement to play in the championship. And Raphael, I know a lot of IU and Purdue fans are probably pretty upset this morning.
They sure are. That's quite the talker throughout social media, so we'll see what happens with that. Of course, today we're all focused, Nicole, on the forecast. A little chilly right now, Kyle, right? But things will get better, right?
Yeah, things are going to get a whole lot better here as we go through the afternoon. You know, Nicole, Raphael, if you liked yesterday afternoon, I think you're going to love today, as it might be even a little bit warmer out there. We're sitting at 34 right now, so yes, there's a chill in the air because it actually feels like 29. Just a light east breeze, under 10 miles per hour for us, and those winds will stay fairly light as we go through the day. As far as the forecast, as we plan out your Thursday, quite a bit of sunshine. A few more clouds will make their way through, but we've got those temperatures well into the 50s. A couple of areas making it to around 60 degrees this afternoon. And there's a look at those temperatures as we go into this evening. Looks like we'll hold in the 50s. That chance for rain, though, it arrives for the weekend. Saturday looks like it'll be a little bit on the soggy side.
All right, Kyle, thank you. We are back in 25 minutes and throughout Good Morning America with news, weather, and traffic updates. All your news throughout the day can be found on the WRTV app. Have a great day.